guys, Moses Hershko. We are back in Atherton. We're gonna check the progress. The guys are working. This is one of my personal favorites. We're actually getting ready to start the exterior as well. We're working on the permits for the pool and the hardscaping. The landscaping architect is working on those details right now. And I'm very excited about it. It's over 1 acre of beautiful land, and that's gonna be super epic as soon as we start construction on the exterior. As you guys can see, the interior is actually, I would say, probably like around 60–70% done at this stage, definitely about 50%. So we started working on the second story addition, which is basically a 1,000 square foot addition, which probably it's one of its kind in Silicon Valley, right? So usually you don't see those kind of closets, only in very modern type of homes in Florida and Los Angeles. Funny story about this property, there is an agent, a real estate agent that lives literally across the street. She was selling the property across the street from the other side, and when we talked to her, she told me, "Oh, you are Moses, you are building this, you're remodeling the property in front of me, right?" So I told her yes. So she told me like the property doesn't really have a good closet, right? She kind of left it on the fact that it's such a massive land and they don't have a proper closet. So I told her you should wait for us to finish. It's going to be amazing, right? So we're going to show it. We're going to give you a sneak peek. Framing, it's in the works right now. Let's check it out. I'm very excited to see this one. Basically, the kitchen kind of starts like around that section, and that's where the closet starts, like around that point, coming from the master bedroom and the master bathroom, going all the way to the closet. So you have, again, over 1,000 square feet, I believe. We're gonna basically already order the finishes. I mean, it's just gonna be gorgeous when it's done. So I'm very excited to show it to you afterwards. But let's go inside and kind of check it out. Right now, we're kind of standing on what we call plywoods, right? Just pure plywood, which we actually replace to make the place seamless and much more solid, right? So if you can see, when you go in, it's kind of transition nicely between the rooms, and before we didn't really have a good transition. So we actually fixed it up, we replaced all the plywood. The owner was very happy about it, it's very solid. Those kind of some of the details that sometimes, if you're not an experienced construction expert, you might not realize. And sometimes, if those things, if for example, if the builder doesn't care about those things, God forbid, somebody can actually install the finished product, which is the flooring, on top of the, damaged plywood, right? Which is basically doesn't give you a good protection, right? So if you can imagine, when we install those finished product, when the actual floors that the client purchased, the owner purchased, then you want to make sure there is a good protection. And in the end of the day, that's why I always tell the client, those type of things, it seems to be like minor details, but in the 5 to 10 to 20 year range, those become big details because those things kind of make everything last longer. So when we install the floors, it seems like, we're just talking about floors, but it's not just about the floors, right? It's anything that we install behind the walls. So when we come to the property, we're gonna kind of, we want to test the space. So we want to kind of explore and kind of study the space. So we're going to do kind of what we call explanatory demo, right? Demolition in the space to review behind the walls what's causing the issue, right? And then we find out that certain things was not upgraded before they closed the wall, right? Before they closed in the wall. So it's not just about like, getting things done, right? When it looks, sort of speaking, pretty when it's done. It's very important to focus on the condition. That's why we take our time to perfect what we call the behind the walls. That's why they're hiring Moses Hershko Development, right? And not just like anybody, because we are the one that's protecting the owner. We are the one that's actually on the site. I'm coming weekly, like once or twice a week sometimes, to the job site, depends on the progress, and I review all the spaces. And if I don't like something, we're gonna address it, we're gonna fix it. And that's kind of our, in the end of the day, when the client hire Moses Hershko Development, again, MHD Group, which that's our, by the way, that's our design studio, right? So we have in-house design studio, and we have our construction team. So together in collaboration, we can kind of deliver much better product and much better experience to our clients, right? The most important thing for us, it's the client interest protecting the client interest, right? So I'm actually right now reviewing the site. I'm looking at the electrical. I don't care about the finishes at this stage. I care about the quality of, again, the plywood, the rough plumbing, rough electrical, all the details that's, the codes, the value engineering, all the stuff that goes in behind the walls to make sure the owner investment is being protected. Let's check the rest. So this is clean. This is what we call a clean site, right now, which I really like. Sometimes you go to job site, I always tell my guys, make sure job site is clean. I don't like to go and just see like a bunch of paperwork and bunch of stuff. So we got the planning, architectural planning nicely on the table. Everybody can watch it as needed. So we're stepping into the kitchen space right now. The transition of the plywood, make the space just looks very, very nice in transition. We have something special. Let me show you something. You see those black metal stripes? Those are special LED lighting. It's gonna modernize the space. We put the drywall. You don't see those one, but you see like a nice LED stripe light, which makes everything super, super nice. That's actually pretty cool. We have like all that framing, which is kind of a nice opening. So we're gonna have a nice sliding, which kind of look into the pool. Which should give you kind of the entire picture of the property, which is super cool. So you can see kind of how wide it is and how beautiful. This space, as you remember previously, right, we were stepping out. So it was a different level of foundation. We leveled the floor, so we created a different landing. We had a lot of foundation work just because of the second story. So the guys are, again, working on the framing, but, it's really cool site, to have the transition kind of from the inside to the outside, and you're gonna have a nice kind of glass panel, sliding door, which is gonna make it great. This is super cool. Check this one out. It's not like, a pretty site, but you actually have so much wiring. This is the heart of the home automation room, right? So we specialize in home automation in our projects because a lot of those type of homes, these days you have, you have so much like, cool capabilities and technological stuff that you can actually control from your phone, and everything is kind of connected. So we have a lot of wiring coming up, that's basically going to control the entire property, right? Lighting, music, the pool situation, right? Like as far as the lighting. So there is a lot of cool stuff that goes into that house. Which people, again, don't think about, right? So people don't realize when you do those remodels, you can have like pretty much anything you want these days, right? As far as like, all those cool gadgets, technology and stuff, right? That you can, control from your phone, and you can do a lot of cool stuff actually, which is nice to have, right? So we actually have custom vanities for the entire house, which is pretty cool. So we're gonna check it out. We're gonna have a beautiful slab on top of it, and just the tile installation in this property is just epic. This is what we call old school tile installation. Unfortunately you don't see it these days, right? Because in the end of the day, a lot of the projects, when you're working with Moses Hershko development, you get excellent quality behind the walls, as we said, and tiles installation, it's one of it, right? As far as installation of tile, this is kind of the best you can get. The thickness, the level, just this thing is going to last forever, no matter what kind of earthquake or what kind of situation, God forbid, we might have in California. The owners over here, they just get the best, the best that money can buy. Let's put it that way, right? Again, for someone that's experienced with construction, when they come and see our job sites, they, sometimes I invite friends or people in the industry, and they look at the quality of work that we do, and they are also builders. Sometimes I invite builders to review the work that we do, and they actually amazed by the amount of level of quality that we put again in those type of projects, in our projects. And I always teach everybody, I always tell everybody, go the extra mile for your clients. If it's my project, if it's somebody else's project, you want to make sure we always go the extra mile. We always do more than we're getting paid for, right? So because for me, again, for me, it's like building my name, building my brand, and building my trust with my clients. It's again to make sure that things are done in a way, regardless if because again, most people are not construction expert. Again, they're hiring a construction expert that they rely on, right? So that's why we get a lot of referrals. We have clients that we finish their first home and they call us to do their second home or vacation home, right? which, you know, in the end of the day, that's kind of a, you know, a bless and almost like kind of a good karma to do things right. So when you do things right and people really enjoying their property for many, many years, they're going to call you for the next one. It's kind of a no-brainer and win-win for everybody. We have 2 more bathrooms over here. Yeah, that's pretty much, you know, we're still waiting for the vanity on this one because we had some adjustments. We actually had to move the window slightly to make sure the vanity sits perfectly, so it's up to code. So sometimes there is like certain variations that we do before we even have inspection to make sure, you know, things are going kind of perfectly, because we know what the building department expects. So it just makes inspection go smoothly and just everybody on the same page, right? This bathroom is actually almost done. That's pretty cool actually. So we have like a very nice style. Again, the quality of installation over here, it's like second to none. You don't see those that quality, especially not in the Bay Area. You know, for the most part, again, we put a lot of emphasis on you know, the way we do things, right? For us, it's not about just the finished product, although this product is actually very nice quality as well. So you know, the designer did a great job. Bravo for the designer over here. But again, you know, we say, you know, the designer can provide the best suggestions from our team, but in the end of the day, the client is the one that has to make the final decision, right? So sometimes a minimalistic design, having a nice niche, it's enough. You don't need to have 10 different niches, you know, and depends on the purpose of the bathroom. We're gonna see the master, which is, you know, completely gonna blow your mind. But for a bathroom in this size, you want to kind of utilize the space and maximize, you know, what's going on in the space, so you can enjoy it much more, right? So we got a nice niche on the corner. Again, the thickness and the level of installation is just impeccable. Again, we have the renderings. You know, those renderings, again, I always talk about the renderings, that it gives a lot of inspiration to the guys, you know, so the guys that's working actually physically, you know, they look at the photo and they look at this, you know, the actual site. So it just gives you a lot of reference for what we install and keep that vision in their mind while they're working physically, right? Also, this space, the foyer, we call it kind of the foyer and the entrance. We are gonna have a grand chandelier. I mean, this space is so nice because this is kind of a true, you know, what I call mansion, you know, entrance, right? So you get the beautiful, we're gonna have actually a beautiful design railing. We're gonna change that railing right now. This is just temporary for safety. And you're gonna have a beautiful chandelier. The front door is gonna be changed. It's just a, you know, beautiful kind of entrance and kind of give a lot of character to the property, which, you know, I really like. So this is the master bedroom. I love the ceiling over here. If, you know, you see the way the ceiling are, you know, that ceiling design was super cool actually. So we actually kept the same original design. It's almost like kind of going in a, you know, in a nice angle, which is, you can see, which is cool. And, you know, we have everything open so we can kind of really perfect the installation. But now let's check out that one. This one, it is an introduction by itself. Okay, so this is welcome to the best closet in the Bay Area. Okay, check it out. We had the process installation. The guys are working on the framing. Cannot wait to see this thing done. I mean, it's going to be incredible. So tomorrow we're going to meet with the vendor for the cabinet maker. We're going to look at the space, take some measurements. Now that the trusses are installed, we can actually finalize the measurements. You know, we're going to come back and look at that space when it's done. It's going to be crazy. So we are in a master bathroom, right? So over here we kind of continue with the shape of the ceiling, which kind of gives the bathroom a very unique style. Look at that huge vanity, double sink. We're gonna have a beautiful slab on top of it, but the size of the vanity, the style, you know, the way it sits. See, that's what we call, that's kind of basically, it's floated vanity. So it sits on the wall and it's not sitting on the floor. So it just kind of give you a nice, nice feature, nice element, right? Theoretically or realistically, you can actually purchase a property or land for development for roughly 10 million and then build a property on it, right? But again, those details, if you buy a property right now, right, in Atherton or in pretty much anywhere in the Bay Area or anywhere, but particularly in the Bay Area, and you want to increase the value, even though you're going to live in the property, let's say for 5 to 10 years, or maybe you're going to sell it in the future and you're going to enjoy it for a few good years, a lot of the details, a lot of the kind of the elements can be upgraded and give you much more value, right? So like, for example, adding a closet in that size, it's a pretty sizable investment, but in the end of the day, in the next 5 years, this property is going to appreciate so much in value, and some of those things are going to make it increase the value. It's not just because of the land, it's because of the finishes, it's because of the closet, it's because of all those details that we put into the property. They just make it very unique. So my advice is like, it's not about just getting what you want, you have to look at everything as an investment. So if we do in a bathroom, or if we do in a kitchen, or anything that you do, you want to put enough emphasis to make sure you actually not decreasing from the value. Because sometimes I talk to clients, or I talk to somebody that, let's say, they did a remodel in the past, and they want to remodel something now, but before they didn't do it in the right way. So sometimes they realize it after a few years, and they want to redo it a few years later, that's not the perfect space to be, because it's kind of like wasting time and wasting money, right? So you want to get it done right on the first time, and you want to make sure whatever you do increase the value of the property. Even if you're going to live in the property in the next 20 years, you want to make sure you actually increase the value of it, okay? So again, all those details that we have in this space, it just give it much more value and much more, in the end of the day, the owner's going to enjoy those details, but it just kind of comes perfectly,